These are the Athleta Array T7, and this is the 1 month review of these absolute monstrosity wide foot kings. And by monstrosity, I don't mean weight, because they're actually quite lightweight, and they're very, very comfortable. So let's hop into it with the sole plate. Now, as you can see, the sole plate is probably one of the most simple things you'll ever see outside of maybe a Morelia 2 or a Copa Mundial. It is super simple, conical studs all the way through. It reminds me a lot of the Puma King Mirai that I reviewed probably 2 years ago now. And it's really nice. It kind of verges on AG/MG almost, but it is technically an FG football boot. And I gotta tell you what, it's not amazing, but it's also really comfortable, and it's pretty wide in the forefoot, so it's got really nice traction, really good stability and hold on the ground. So it's not going to get top marks, but it also kind of needs to be a pretty good score because I just don't have any complaints, and it's great on AG, it's great on FG. As you can see, I've got a ton of turf stains and grass stains all over it, and I've worn these a bunch. We'll talk a little bit more about durability and build quality later in the video, but from a sole plate perspective, like good snapback, super stiff in this midfoot, which is awesome. And it just kind of does everything really well. So no complaints for me, really. That being said, again, it's not special in any way. So it is going to get a 7 out of 10. The heel area, the heel area of the Athleta Array T7 is absolutely amazing. It is on par, and this is crazy that I'm saying this because no one even comes close usually, other than maybe Mizuno. This comes close, if not on par, with Asics, which is nuts because Asics makes the best heel areas by a landslide. These are absolutely amazing. It's a very similar micro suede to the Asics and Mizuno brands. So you have this incredible locked in sensation anytime you're wearing grip socks or non-grip socks, because when your foot gets a little bit sweaty and a little bit damp, it sticks to this micro suede and just locks in perfectly. It's a really nice and neutral shape. It does have kind of a little bit of padding towards the top of this, similar to a Mizuno boot, but it's got a little bit more structure. So it's really gonna it gives it a really nice kind of pocket for your heel to sit into. And I've heard that most people, at least who've tried these, have had zero issues with the heel area, and they have a variety of different foot shapes. So that's a huge thing from the Athleta brand. Heel area, easily a 9 out of 10. The upper on the Array T7 is really nice. It follows very similar construction DNA to the Morelia Neo series, Morelia Neo 4 series, as well as the Toco 4 and a couple other things that we'll go over in the competition, X-Fly 5, X-Fly Pro 2, with the leather in the forefoot, synthetic in the midfoot. Now, the leather is exceptionally soft. It is almost like Mizuno quality, Asics quality leather. I would say it's very close to both of those. Feels super premium straight out of the box, very, very soft, continues to be super soft as you continue to wear it. And then this grid shell material here in the midfoot, which is a synthetic, does a super nice job of wrapping your foot, giving you a ton of lockdown, which we'll talk about in just a minute, as well as just a really nice and seamless transition between that synthetic and the leather, despite them being quite different materials. You notice on things like the Morelia Neo 4 and Neo 4, and not quite the beta model, but the DS Lite X-Fly 5, both of those boots with the standard U-throat tongue have such a beautiful seamless transition between the leather and sort of their faux leather or their fake leather in the midfoot. This isn't even trying to be fake leather, and it's a synthetic material, and it still has a really nice seamless sensation. So for me, this is one of those uppers that just does a fantastic job of pretty much everything. It's a little on the thicker side, especially in the midfoot, because of that grid shell material, which adds to the lockdown, but it does get a little bit chunky sometimes feeling. It's not like thick by any means, but it does feel very robust. And so for me, it's just going to lose like half a point for that. So for me, it's going to be an 8 out of 10 upper. So as I've alluded to, the lockdown of the Athleta Array T7 is absolutely out of this world. It genuinely is so, so, so good. Part of that is because the fit is amazing. Part of that is because they have a runner's loop. Nice job. And part of that is because they have a different holes in the upper so that you can actually make the lacing system go deeper. So if you notice, I've got it at the top right here, but you can always go even deeper to make the upper kind of wrap your foot even tighter. And if you have a thin foot, you probably wouldn't have the same experience of lockdown simply because this boot is meant for wider foot shapes. But a player like myself, who's got a very wide midfoot and a pretty wide toe box and then a narrow-ish heel, these are unbelievably locked in. Like once I put them in the runner's knot, my foot did not move off the sole plate. It was incredible. And so that has been the sensation throughout basically the entire break-in process. And even this morning when I took these out for the final session, it really was one of those boots that you slip in, you're like, oh, amazing, super comfortable. You tie the laces super tight, you start moving around and you're like, whoa, this is complete, like this, it's part of my foot now. And that is a really unique sensation. So easily, these are getting a 9 out of 10 for lockdown. Break-in time for the Athleta Array T7 is quite good. As I said before, if you're a thinner foot shape, this probably just isn't the boot for you, period. I would probably go for something like the Morelia Neo 4, Asics DS Lite X Fly 5, or X-Fly Pro 2, all of those are going to be much more narrow to start with, even if they do break in for wider foot shapes. This starts pretty wide. So if you have a neutral to wider foot shape, the break-in time is going to be sensational for you. It took me just a tiny bit of time, probably like 30, 45 minutes of proper wear time to break in this area right here, which is where my foot is the widest. But I'd imagine for most people, these are going to be perfectly fine. So not much to say here. The break-in time gets an 8.5 out of 10. Durability and build quality of the Athleta Array T7 is fantastic. Yes, this boot is a little bit more robust than other things on the market, so it does have a little bit more oomph to it, right? It does have a little bit more like substantiation to it, substantial nature to it, I guess you could say. I don't really know what I'm saying. The point is that it feels really good in hand. It's super nice. It's super robust. It's got really good quality stitching around the forefoot. The midfoot feels bulletproof. It feels like you could do anything you wanted to this and it wouldn't split anywhere on this. So for me, durability and build quality for an Athleta Array T7, easily a 9 out of 10. Shape and fit for the football boot. This is going to be an easy one. And I'm rating this from the perspective of somebody who is crying tears because they don't fit in a lot of other things. And then they come to my channel and they see that Athleta makes a really nice wide foot, beautiful, semi-lightweight, but uber comfortable football boot for wide foot shapes. They go to Tokyo Football and they purchase them, or they go to the Athleta shop if they're in Asia somewhere and they purchase them and they get them and they go, oh my God, no, these are the best thing I've ever worn. The shape is actually ergonomic and the fit is incredible and it does everything really well. Yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 for shape and fit. Okay, so competition, Athleta Array T7. This falls under the category of what sort of, I would say, Mizuno started with their Neo series, and that is leather, K-leather in the forefoot, or some sort of leather in the forefoot, synthetic in the midfoot. So you've got the DS Lite X Fly 5, you've got the Morelia Neo 4 and Neo 4 Beta, for obvious reasons. You've got the New Balance 442, the Copa Pure 2 and 2 Plus, the Umbro Toco 4 Pro, and what am I missing? Oh, Diadora, Brazil, Elite, Veloce, LPX, ITA, XYZ, ABCD, EFG, whatever. Okay, so that competes with the Athleta Array T7, and for my foot shape, this is towards the top of that list. Asics DS Lite X Fly 5 and Mizuno Morelia Neo 4 non-beta are at the top, kind of tied. This is number 2, easily, like easily. And it's because it fits me perfectly. If you are a narrower foot shape, this probably wouldn't be, as I said before, this probably wouldn't be towards the top of the list. But for wider foot shapes or sort of kind of average foot shapes where you're like, some of the speed boots on the market don't fit me because I'm too wide for them, but like I fit in some things. These ones, dark horse, easily dark horse. All right, so performance of the Athleta Array T7 is excellent. No, it's not the lightest boot on the market. No, it's not the thinnest boot on the market, but oh my days, does it fit well, it performs well. The lockdown is nuts for what it is. and I just love these boots. I think they are so fun. Tokyo Football sent these out to me originally back a couple months ago, and I was kind of not expecting anything. I knew of Athleta, but I was like, oh, these look cool. Okay, cool. I'll try them on. Took them out of the box, and I was like, these look kind of wide. Huh. Put them on my feet, and I was like, oh my God. These are the best thing I've ever tried. No, not literally, but close. Very, very close. From a performance perspective, the only reason I'm going to knock them down is because they're slightly thicker than some of the other things in the same category, like my two top models, which are the Morelia Neo 4 made in Japan's and the Asics DS Lite X-Fly 5. So these are going to get, for a performance score, 8.5 out of 10. All right, overall score for the Athleta Array T7s. As you guys can probably tell from this review, I absolutely adore these football boots. I think they are exceptional, and they are easily the wide foot king. If you are looking for a boot that's going to perform really well, but also really wide, I think a lot of really wide-footed players often will go for a Copa Mundial or a Morelia 2, which has some trade-offs as far as performance and has some trade-offs as far as weight and other things, although the Morelia 2 is like really lightweight. It's the GOAT, so whatever. You can't really consider that one. But for a lot of other wide-footed players, they're like, oh, I have to go up a half a size or up a full size with a different model to get the right width and blah, blah, blah. Try these and you will be absolutely off your rocker. They are so good. They're so comfortable. They perform well. They've got extra little material here across the upper so that you can wear them on AG and FG surfaces, which this sole plate is pretty much suited for. It's a very hybrid sole plate. And so for me, there's really nothing else better on the market for a really wide foot shape than the Athleta Array T7, especially because of the quality of the leather, the comfort, the fit, the heel area, the lockdown, like the whole 9 yards. These do it so well, and they're dark horse boot of the year probably for me. Stay tuned for that video. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for an overall rating. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope you guys enjoyed the 1 month review series. If you do, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because it really helps. As always, be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.